artificial? No, it's not artificial. It's no more artificial than having a desire to get a new car, or it's an expression of the mode of goodness, and it can be cultivated. We can cultivate any mode we want, and people feel joyful at different times during the day. Everybody has moments, but they're thinking that feeling of happiness is coming from outside, from external conditions. But actually, anybody can cultivate serenity. Krishna describes it in 16 and 1717, that to cultivate this feeling of inner satisfaction and live this way is he says, this is the austerity of the mind in the mode of goodness. And one can do it as devotional service. And it makes it possible for us, 1854, Mad Bhaktin Labhate Param. Now you can be devotional because you're not poor, you're rich. My cup runneth over. Because you're not hankering for something, because you already have that inner feeling. It's so important for us to come to this platform. And joyfulness, there's one purport where Srila Prabhupada says, until we become joyful, it's very difficult to make progress in our spiritual life. So spiritual life actually begins from the stage of joyful enthusiasm. I have this written on my joyful enthusiasm. If we engage in sadhana bhakti with joyful enthusiasm, as opposed to, there's one purport where Srila Prabhupada, one recording on that I have, recorded lectures, where Srila Prabhupada talks. He says, not that I should do my sadhana, it's a duty. Not that I should do this, it's my duty. No, he said, do it with joyful enthusiasm. Srila Rupa Utsahan. Srila Rupa Goswami writes in Nectar of Utsahan. Enthusiasm. So, joyful enthusiasm. This means this is adopting the mentality or condition of the heart of a devotee. A devotee has joyful, and this is our real nature. It's not an artificial imposition on the mind. Anything else is an artificial imposition on the mind. This is our real nature. So Srila Prabhupada says it's only a question of understanding and accepting. So real acceptance is not that I philosophically like this philosophy and think it makes sense. Real acceptance means I love it. That I embrace it in my heart, and with joyful enthusiasm. So he says it's simple for the simple, and one can do it in a second. So, so then, okay. So I shouldn't stretch out too much. Maybe we should go back to the text. Forgive me
if anyone has any questions, certainly they can ask here or online. So here,
yes, the idea.
Yes.
I get excited, but the idea is people are thinking that when I become realized, I'll be joyful. People think like that. When I have spiritual realization, then I'll become joyful. But that is backwards. When I become joyful, then I will have spiritual realization. And that's what Krishna says. Brahma Prasanatma. Joyfulness. And then he said, Mad Bhaktin Labhate Param. One can engage in devotional service. It's a prerequisite. It's not going to come from becoming realized. It's what we have to do to engage. It's a prerequisite. It means that is the measure of it. It's simply a matter of understanding and accepting. Joyfulness, measure of our acceptance. If we really accept it's real and it's being offered to us and it's free, then if we really accept that this is for real, how joyful we'll be. So this is joyful. Therefore, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta writes that faith is the key to how much faith we have. That determines. In other words, that acceptance is our realization. It's not linear. That this produces this, and this A produces B, and B produces C. It's the acceptance is our realization, because as soon as we accept and we feel joyful devotion, we feel automatically feel blissful. It's therefore Srila Prabhupada says one can be Krishna conscious in a second. It's simply a question of understanding and accepting. So to live in this way is the Brahminical platform that is conducive to the Brahmabhuta platform. And, and one could do all of our practices dutifully for hundreds of years. But at some point, therefore, sir, read the books, read my books. At some point, we have to understand that we have to be like little children, that very innocent. That's why Srila Prabhupada, it's simple for the simple. It's simple for the simple. And we don't have to be anything complicated or complex. It's so simple. If we can just understand and accept like little children and to be happy and embrace it, immediately we feel the bliss of Krishna consciousness proportionately. Immediately. So we should engage in our sadhana with joyful enthusiasm. And that's therefore utsahan, therefore great gratitude, great enthusiasm, and the next be after utsahan, confidence. Confidence, Srila Prabhupada, means that they believe that this is real and that it's going to work. That's confidence. It's not self-confidence. It's confidence that this is the real thing. And then patience. Patience means that it's going to happen. It is happening. It's here now. And so this doesn't mean that I'm on the stage of Baba or Prema. This means that I'm a neophyte devotee, but this spiritual demeanor, this spiritual frame of consciousness, this is Krishna consciousness, it continues to expand. The more we engage on that level, it expands infinitely, without limit. It never stops expanding. But the beginning is joyful enthusiasm, acceptance, embrace it as reality, and run with it like that. So, I'm talking like that because I'm trying to cultivate. I'm cultivating. I'm thinking like that. This is what makes my sadhana meaningful. The degree to which I have joyful enthusiasm is to that degree I can feel Srila Prabhupada's presence. in my heart. It seems to be the price. In order to associate with Brahman, one has to be Brahman. Srila Prabhupada explains that. We have to assert our spiritual nature. We have to endeavor to feel and be that, and it's simply a question of understanding and accepting. And it's not complicated. It's only difficult for one who can't make that. It's like a leap of faith. It means that that people think, when I become realized, then I'll have love. When I become realized, then I'll have enthusiasm. When I have become realized, then I'll be joyful. But the reality is, when I have joy in the process, when I have enthusiasm, then that is my realization. There is no difference between. It's a question of how much we accepted it and embrace it in the present moment and live it like that. Not doing and waiting for one day the bolt of lightning will come and I'll have realization. Doesn't work that way. We have the responsibility. The mercy has already been extended. Please accept my blessing. How much do we accept? And this is so magic because it's so simple. It's just a question of how much we accept. And if we really accept, then it's great. And we can do like that. So this takes some cultivation because we're habitually, I call it, speaking in digital terms, we have our default programs. I have my default program that if I'm not remembering that Krishna consciousness is a great opportunity, and all I have to do is embrace this consciousness. If I'm not remembering that this is a fact, then my default programs come in. I become overly concerned. My to-do list, my possibility for success and failure, and how so-and-so treated me 10 years ago, and on, and there's no way to avoid this, because the mind that doesn't have the satisfaction in the present moment is forced to furtively look for it in all of these other ways. There's no way around it. So from moment, and this is from moment to moment, how am I living? It's not a question of being a member of a church or a Prabhupada Nuga or a Ritvik devotee, or it's not a question of a new label. It's a question of living in Krishna consciousness, in this consciousness. Okay.
Joy.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, not about a label or a new group. I really like that. All right, Rupa, can you read? Oh, Ishan Prabhu, you can read this one, Prabhu. You have not read 153.
53. Gyanasitam susam panam api te mahad adbhutam kritavan bharatam yastvam sarvartha paribrim hitam. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes,
I think my headphone.
I can hear you.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Your inquiries Beautiful. Srila Vyasadeva is talking. Narada Muni is addressing Srila Vyasadeva. Your inquiries were full. Your studies were also well fulfilled. And there's no doubt you have prepared a great and wonderful work. The Mahabharata is full of all kinds of Vedic sequences, elaborately explained. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, the despondency of Vyasadeva was certainly not due to his lack of sufficient knowledge, because as a student, he had fully inquired about the Vedic literatures, as a result of which the Mahabharata is compiled with full explanation of the Vedas. Maybe we should just keep going a bit.
Yes, let's keep going. Rupa, can you read the next one? You'll just have to unmute yourself.
Yes. Okay. Jijasitam aditam cha brahmayat tat sanatanam tatapi sochasi atmanam akritartha eva prabho. Translation. You have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman as well as the knowledge derived therefrom. Why should you be despondent in spite of all this, thinking that you are undone, my dear Prabhu? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra, compiled by Sri Vyasadeva, is the full deliberation of the impersonal absolute feature, and it is accepted as the most exalted philosophical exposition in the world. It covers the subject of eternity, and the methods are scholarly, so there cannot be any doubt about the transcendental scholarship of Vyasadeva. So why should he lament?
Go ahead. Yes, Ishan Prabhu. Yes, I see you. Hands up.
This purport and verse, they arouse questions in my mind, because on the one hand, Srimad Bhagavatam, what I'm saying is I don't know. I don't understand, because Srimad Bhagavatam is said to be the mature commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, and Srimad Bhagavatam is all about the name, form, the glories of the name, form, pastimes, and paraphernalia of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here it's being described that the Vedanta Sutra is for a description of impersonal Brahman. Also, Srila Prabhupada sometimes says that the subject matters of the Vedanta Sutra is three: Sambandha, Abhadeya, and Prayojana. And Sambandha means our basic philosophy of Krishna consciousness. I am not this body, I'm spirit soul, I'm infinitely spiritual and small spirit spark, part and parcel of Krishna, and my constitutional position is one of devotion, is to be in loving, selfless, devotional service, unalloyed in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is Sambandha. And Abhadeya means, okay, what are the activities of the soul, which is actually the subject of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya means the living force. Charita means the character and activity of the living force, Amrita, in the eternal condition. So So we take up these activities, abadaya, and the third section of the Vedanta Sutra, prayojana means ecstatic love of God in the highest mature way. And that's why Srila Prabhupada says, do not be a blind follower.
Hmm.
Yeah. He said that to just understand Sambandha, just to understand, philosophically, I'm not this body, and I'm my constitutional position in relation to the absolute is pure devotional service. To understand these things is not enough. It's still a mental platform. That's Srila Prabhupada's phrase. The Krishna consciousness on the mental platform. He says like that you have a bottle of honey and it's really sweet, but you can't taste it by licking the outside of the bottle. You have to get inside the bottle and really have the taste. So if we have all our Sambandha really in place and we can quote, I know some devotees who they've memorized Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit. They can quote the whole verse. They can recite. But there's a difference. So he says, not blind following. Blind following is condemned. So blind following means someone wants to sell me something. It's a very nice product. And I purchase it without knowing if it really works. That's blind following. So Srila Prabhupada said, you have to get inside and taste it, because when you have it, then you'll know it's for real. So he doesn't want blind followers. He wants, I made some notes about this. He wants us to make an experiment or test the product that he's selling. He's putting forward this thing. And if you're engaged in pure devotional service, you'll feel what your heart has been always looking for. You'll feel satisfied, fulfilled, and you'll feel really happy beyond your imagination. He says, so he wants us to make an experiment to test the product so we can see if we will obtain the taste that frees us from the desire from all other tastes. Material. So what's the experiment? The experiment is to understand and accept, to embrace, and to have faith, gratitude, joyful, enthusiastic practice. That's real experiment. He says, and then he says, understanding the basic philosophy and understanding the necessity. Oh, Srila Prabhupada says we have to have a cultivation with somebody, of a connection with somebody who has this experience. He says, you can't get it any other way. You can't get it any other way. So this, what you're putting in front of me on the screen, blind following and absurd inquiries. What is the real inquiry? The real inquiry is, how can I develop love of Krishna? How can I taste it? That's the inquiry. But how can one taste it? Therefore, in the 10th canto, purport, Srila Prabhupada says, one requires to have a heart-to-heart relationship with somebody who is situated in that way. And in that way, in this chapter that we're studying, when we come to the 25th verse, Srila Prabhupada says that pure devotion is infectious in a good sense. just like an infectious disease. He says, one last thing, you catch it from someone who has it. There's no other way. We learn to be devotee, and therefore it's called apprenticeship program. It's not a user's manual. One can follow the instructions to make the new blender or a new whatever work with having no connection with the person who wrote the manual. But an apprenticeship program, and that's Srila Prabhupada's phrase. You can look it on, prabhupadbooks.com and Google it, so to speak, is there. So he said, apprenticeship program means I'm an apprentice to a bricklayer. He's showing me, you put the cement, you mix it to this consistency. You feel it, you see it, and you spread it on the cement slab, and you put the brick in like this, and you follow him so that you can feel all it, and then you do it, and you do it two ways. Do it with the same feeling. And at the same time, you're looking to your teacher, that is he pleased by the way I'm doing it. Therefore, in that purport that you just brought up, where blindfold, he says inquiry. So that is submission, what I was taught. Inquiry, submission. Inquiry is, how do I lay this brick? Submission is, get the feeling from the man who knows the feeling of laying that brick. And service means I'm doing it the way he showed me with the same feeling, but I'm also trying to please him while I'm doing that. So inquiry, submission, and service means, how do I feel this Krishna conscious, this love of Krishna? Submission means that as an apprentice, I'm imbibing the taste of devotion and being infected with his feeling. And service means that I'm doing it in this way for his pleasure. And what is the last sentence in that purport that we were looking at? Inquiry, submission, and service. He said, when the spiritual master, he's very kind, and when he sees the sincere desire in submission and always ready to render that service, then he blesses the disciple with real understanding. Then the inquiry, submission, and the reciprocation becomes perfect. Srila Prabhupada says there is an ongoing relationship in this apprenticeship program. It's amazing, but people are not understanding what it is. They're thinking inquiry, submission, and submission means I got the checklist. Do this, do this, do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. And service means to act that way. No, it's more than that. It's an apprenticeship program, and that's learning to live that way. Is to how we cultivate our Krishna consciousness in the association of the pure devotee, under the guidance of a pure devotee. These are meanings like that. So to come to that point, one could go on being obedient for hundreds of years or birth, but if this loving connection is there, if love is there, obedience, if you love someone, you do everything to please them. You don't think I should do this. You want to do this, and this is what's anyway.
Rupa Manjari, I think, had a question or a statement she wanted to say. Rupa, you had something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's 8:04, so we should wrap it up.
7.
8:04.
Oh, was it an hour or we were going for 2 hours? Ishan Prabhu?
I'm if you Prabhus want to continue, I'll continue with you because this is so nice.
Mm.
I need to hear these things. You may think
Okay.
I'm being funny. I'm not making jokes.
We can go forward, yes. Let's go for another hour if you want to attend, Rupa. It's going to be recorded so you can watch it later. If any, and Bhanu is here too. Bhanu Prabhu, you have any questions or comments, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Ishan Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ishan Prabhu, I really appreciated the way you were giving the example of like bricklaying, because that makes
Apprentice.
sense to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's Srila Prabhupada's word. Krishna consciousness is an apprenticeship program. And when we come to 525 in this chapter of Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada says that this pure devotion is infectious in a good sense, like an infectious disease. And he says, what does it mean to become infected? He says to become infected means to imbibe the taste of devotion in the association of a pure devotee.
Yeah.
That he said, this is our philosophy. This is the
Right.
science of Krishna
Mhm.
consciousness. And
Mhm.
so, but even we can't do it.
Mm.
At least if we understand it, that conceptually, that this is where we're going.
Mm.
And this is
Right.
what I want to. And so it says in in our songbook. What does it say? Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, he prays. He says, please let me be with you.
Mm.
We're not necessarily yet having the inclination of the heart by which we can feel his presence. But we want to be, we know that it's, please let me be with you. And another poem by Bhakti Vinod Thakur in our songbook, I offer you all respect. He's praying to his spiritual master so we can learn. I offer you all respect, for thus I may have the energy by which I can understand you.
You have wonderful energy.
Then by chanting the holy name and great ecstasy, all my offenses will cease. So what is he saying? He's saying that if I approach my spiritual, the self-realized pure devotee with enough humility and strong enough desire, I'll be able to understand his heart, and then I'll be able to be a devotee. It's right there. It's right there. This is how it works. It's not a question of being obedient for 100 years. It's a question. It's a question of cultivating heart-to-heart, quote unquote, relationship with the pure devotee and becoming infected with his devotional qualities, and then engaging simultaneously in that way for his pleasure. Because words, our language, puts it all in an order like A, B, C, but actually it's not. It's all at the same time. It's all in the same frame of heart or mind. The wanting to understand what is love of Krishna, what is Krishna, and feeling his feeling, and becoming infected with his spirit of devotion and engaging. They're all in the same moment. They're not A, B, C.
It's all in the apprenticeship program set forward by the spiritual master. I mean, if you do the apprenticeship program with enthusiasm and if you do it properly, it gets infectious. Devotional service is infectious, and it infects you, and you start to taste the bliss of chanting the holy name when you really start to taste the bliss of chanting a holy name and fall in love with it. Then the progress of your devotional service really begins. You increase your number of rounds. Then it doesn't become a duty, sort of a duty, you chanting your rounds. So it becomes your life and soul. I mean,
yes, what you're saying is true, but the only way to get that taste, the lotus feet of our spiritual master, is the only way by which we can develop this pure devotional service, because from him, prema bhakti ahoite, avidya vinasha, from him this love emanates, just like this love for Krishna, just like heat and light radiate, emanate from the sun. In the same way, love of Krishna emanates from the pure devotee. And avidya vinasha yati, our ignorance is destroyed. How? Because it's explained in 525 of this Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 5, verse 25, that when we get from him the taste, it makes everything else distasteful. And that's how avidya vinashaya. In that way, our ignorance is destroyed. So it's not simply a question of doing everything we're supposed to do, but to do it under
not doing mechanically, but it's not a question of doing mechanically. I don't know with what intent, but not mechanically. That part I know. Shouldn't be doing it mechanically.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Here is the quote, Ishan Prabhu, pure devotion is as much infectious in a good sense as an infectious disease. A pure devotee is cleared from all kinds of sins. So here, this is the part you were talking about.
Yeah.
Can I complete what I was saying, Prabhu?
Yes. Yes, Prabhu, bolo.
Seem to have forgotten.
We were talking about chanting Hare Krishna and following the law of the spiritual master. So
I mean, the instructions of the spiritual master are itself his mercy. He is setting forward this rule, so that you may come to the platform of goodness. And when you come to the platform of goodness, all the sins are nullified. You're not doing any sins. And then when you do from the devotion from the platform of goodness, you progress, and all the rules and regulations are so that you develop a feeling and love for Krishna. You practice it, and over the period of years, not doing it mechanically in the sense, but with a feeling, when you develop a feeling and a sense of love to what you're towards your sadhana, then you progress. That is the whole apprenticeship program.
Go back to this 525 purport. Go back to this 525 and bring it up.
Yes, Ishan, we're here.
So if we go down on the page, it says, what is this infection? Infection of the qualities of the pure devotee means to imbibe the taste of pure devotion, always in the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. It means to imbibe. To imbibe means to drink, but And this is what this transcendental taste at once makes all material things, therefore a pure devotee. So then he says, but how after the eliminate? So then these things leave us. But then it says after the elimination of the sin, then one becomes attracted. Then one becomes steady. Then one has the taste. Then one can have devotional emotions. And at last one it becomes in love of God. But all of these stages develop by the association of the pure devotee.
Right.
So this is a very important part of now. Someone will say like this: lives forever by his divine instruction, and the follower lives with him. So all we have to do is follow instruction. But what we just read is also part of those instructions.
Right.
Right? In other words, we cannot make the instructions so that these here, what we just said, that we have to become infected by personal association with a pure devotee and imbibe the taste of his devotion. And this is also part of those instructions.
Yes, Prabhu. When you
But
do devotion in the association of a pure devotee, you get to feel how he's doing his emotions, and they get infectious from the pure devotee.
Read in Chaitanya Charitamrita how Lord Chaitanya spread love of Krishna. And he again and again and again and again and again. There's one monologue. Krishna says, I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. And again and again, it says that those who were in the association of Lord Chaitanya, they became infected with his feeling, and they started to chant with the same feeling, and they had disciples who started to chant with the same feeling, and this is our disciplic succession. And Srila Prabhupada says, but someone might say, but Lord Chaitanya was here 500 years ago. What will we do today? And Srila Prabhupada says, you can have the association of Lord Chaitanya through the disciplic succession. He's carrying the same flavor of love of Krishna for us.
Right.
And therefore we have to from him imbibe the taste. Now that in that what we just read, infection means to imbibe the taste of devotion.
But it's not the same right now,
Prabhu.
When Lord Chaitanya was there, I mean, just by the touch or by the sight of him, they used to get Krishna prema.
You're right. So if one can see the pure devotee,
Krishna prema,
he can have Krishna prema. But we have to learn how to see him. So therefore, I offer you all respect. For thus I may have the power to know you correctly. Then by chanting the holy name, my offenses will cease. What does Bhaktivinoda Thakur say? He says, oh, you who tasting the nectar of the name, when will I hold your feet? Until the end of time. When will that day be mine? He says, I'm so scattered. I'm thinking of everything else, but I'm not holding your feet. When will I come to that position? That's when one can, when I offer you that much respect, I'll be able to understand your heart, my spiritual master. Then I can chant Hare Krishna.
He's saying that to
then I can become infected. Nobody will tell you this.
It cannot be artificial. It has to come. It has to come naturally with real feeling.
I'm not saying that we're on this platform. I'm not saying I'm saying this is our philosophy.
Right.
And we should try to understand how we can become devotees. Yes, what we're doing, even just being obedient, just keeping 4 regulative principles is so progressive. One can go to the higher planets just by keeping 4 regulative principles. By doing our 16 rounds, we're making tremendous progress. But if we want to develop love of God, love of Krishna, in the way it's coming down through our disciplic succession, we have to try to understand how the science of Krishna consciousness. That is why it's so important, because the instructions that Srila Prabhupada is giving, any fool can say, chant 16 rounds, keep 4 regulative principles, and we can
It's
follow
sadhana
that
bhakti,
fool.
Prabhu. Can I say something, Prabhu?
But we'll never develop love of God that way. We can only get it from someone who has it.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
So we don't have love for Krishna. I mean, that's Raganuva Bhakti. Naturally, it's naturally coming. It naturally comes the love for Krishna, but we don't have it. So we have to do everyday activity. We do it everyday activity, everyday sadhana. So we kind of feel we feel attached to that sadhana. Eventually, that sadhana, the sadhana we do, that becomes a natural process for us. It's natural daily schedule, and it becomes a natural, it's habit for us, and that also it helps in developing feeling for Krishna until we get to the point of Raganuva Bhakti. See, sadhana bhakti is advised for us to develop.
I'm only saying that our philosophy, our books are telling us that everything you said is perfectly 100% perfect, but that we have to learn to do it in the association under the guidance of a pure devotee and get from him the real flavor of it all. And that this is the real key, That's what I'm trying to push, because that's what I'm trying to learn myself. But I want to go on with this thing. I want to,
Sure.
I'm a conditioned soul. I want to learn how to be Krishna conscious. So I'm talking about our process, the science, the real science. What I'm saying to you here, I don't think you're going to hear it in any temple that I've ever been in. I've been in a lot of ISKCON temples.
You're sharing your experience.
No, tiny bit that I'm understanding, little bit. But what Srila Prabhupada says, if you want to stay on that platform, you have to immediately and repeatedly keep explaining, keep talking. What is the process? What is the process? So we're doing that. So by your association, I can talk like that. By your association, I can remember these things also.
Jai. So I'd like to read here. Srila Prabhupada talks about the apprenticeship program. This is from a Bhagavad Gita lecture, April 12, 1966. Srila Prabhupada writes here, I'll read here. Just like an apprentice, he is working in, where is it? In the supreme consciousness. That will be our position. No, what apprentice? Okay, let me read again.
Good.
Just like an apprentice, he is working in the apprenticeship. He should not present his own plan, Prabhupada says. He should not present his own plan, but he has to take plans of work from his superior. Then he will learn, Prabhupada says. And when he is accustomed, when he's elevated, then he'll be able to make independent plans. Although not independent always, but even it is higher officer, everyone has to consult the higher authorities. Similarly, this means that I shall not independently make any plan, but I must accept the standard plan, which is coming directly from the Supreme Consciousness through a channel. You have to seek that channel. This is very interesting. This is a
In
comment.
very general terms, you know, Srila Prabhupada will never say, I'm a pure devotee, I have love for Krishna, you meditate on me, and you'll get this from me. He never talks like that. He'll never say that. But he will describe the process. And this is one quote where he's speaking about apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And one can read it in many different ways.
Yeah. Here.
What does it mean? You have to seek that channel. It's coming through a channel. This plan, it's not just a plan, because an ISKCON guru, so-called, is also describing the plan, but it's not through that. You have to seek that channel directly from this. That supreme consciousness has to come through that channel, and we have to connect with that channel. It's not a list, a checklist of do's and don'ts. There's more to, and that. But Srila Prabhupada, you know, he's not going to push. But even in Bible, those who have ears, let them hear. It's not expected that everyone's going to hear that like this. I believe this is the essence of the whole program. The lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way by which we can attain this pure devotional.
Ishan Prabhu,
Oh,
I just wanted to let you know that Narayan is in the hospital. He's not doing too well.
Is it something, I guess it's serious if he's in the hospital.
He was coughing up blood and mucus. And
What cancer did he get?
He was coughing up blood and mucus, and also lost consciousness twice. And also he has stage 4 cancer, prostate cancer. Yeah.
Then he's, you know, has always been very, very serious. And
he's always up for preaching, talking Krishna consciousness. He's always ready, Narayan Prabhu.
So we're standing in that line for getting in that hospital. Every one of us.
Yes.
And there's no, it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed that we're all going to go through this. So we have some opportunity here. Yeah.
Get some wisdom before we have to leave our bodies.
Wisdom is a start, I guess.
What's the wisdom? The old man gets a new young body. I would be happy if I got that. I'm sorry to say in one way.
Okay. So
and Krishna consciousness, can I give a different perspective about the apprenticeship program you're projecting, the do's and don'ts? I mean, you dedicate this amount of time for Krishna, your sadhana every day. So many days you have done. Say you increase it every day, so this many hours. So you complete your life. So if you have done so many hours, if you dedicated a whole life for Krishna, only most part of your life if you did do bhakti for Krishna, only then you will go back to the kingdom of God. But even if you don't do like 12 hours or whatever, 24 hours in bhakti in Krishna consciousness, you're taking it to the next life and continuing it there. So it's ultimate success. Every day you spend 2 hours for Krishna consciousness. In the next life, you may spend 4 hours. So it keeps on increasing. Sadhana bhakti. So one day you'll come to a point of doing 24 hours every day.
Yes, of course.
Mhm.
So everything that we do is purifying to bring us to the point where we begin to understand the necessity and the blessing of the association of a pure devotee of the Lord. In the 12th chapter of Nectar of Devotion, there's given that association, the last page of chapter 12. Association is like a crystal stone that reflect everything that is placed before it. I mean, like a mirror, like a crystal stone, a association that our heart is like a mirror. And if we are in touch with the pure devotees explained on that page, our heart will reflect his quality.
Right.
And it will be the quality of devotion. The only thing is, there is that the mirror has to be really clean.
Right.
Yeah, it's a cleaning of the mirror. Bhakti.
So that to approach, Srila Prabhupada sometimes use it, to approach with a frank and open heart. That what I've learned, it may not be the same for everybody, but what I've learned is that if I approach Srila Prabhupada with a heart that is filled with joyful enthusiasm, everything else set aside, that 2 hours you're talking about. If I approach Srila Prabhupada with a heart filled of joyful enthusiasm, then I can feel his presence.
But you want to please Srila Prabhupada with joyful enthusiasm, you're saying, but
wait a minute.
He's giving his mercy through his instructions. You follow the instructions, he will be pleased.
Yeah, this is instruction. This is his instruction. I'm not saying something. This is also part of the instruction.
Okay.
And the most essential part of the instruction. Because you can do everything, but if you don't have this instruction here, then it's going to be like some of my devotee friends say, I'm doing everything, but I'm not getting taste. Where's the taste?
Where's the ruchi?
I'm getting some taste. I can say that.
That's good. No, that's good. So he says, because if we can put everything aside and approach with joyful enthusiasm, we'll begin to feel Srila Prabhupada's presence. I say that because I know that. And then everything is different. Then you don't want to stop. You will forget because we have our default programs and we're not yet, we're not elevated yet, but you say, oh, why do I stop? This is so nice. I just want, Krishna consciousness is the association of a pure devotee because the pure devotee is Krishna consciousness personified. He is Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So we have to be able to, our heart has to be able to reflect by association his quality. And in order to do that, the mirror of the heart has to be completely nothing else except total openness to him, completely clean. If we can do that. Now, it doesn't mean that anything else that it's all good. I'm just trying to get to this point because this is the essential point.
What I'm saying is, I mean, you increase the time for cleaning process, increase the duration of the time devoted to cleaning process.
I didn't catch your point, but I can tell that you're happy, and that's very nice. Please repeat.
We need to increase the duration of time dedicated to our cleaning process, cleaning the heart, dust on the mirror of our heart. It has to be thoroughly cleansed and it has to reflect when it is
Yeah.
transparent. Till then, we have to stick to the holy name, chant with feeling, not do it mechanically, keep hearing whatever we're chanting. Come to a point of when we feel blessed by chanting, by doing our sadhana. Sant Tukaram says, there's so much bliss in the holy name that I don't need to go to any holy place. Wherever I chant, whatever place I chant, it becomes a holy place.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Ishan Prabhu's overall point here is making that we should chant in the mood. It's a precise point Ishan Prabhu is making here. It's a technical point, which we can chant Hare Krishna, but there's a mood that we should chant in, which he's trying to explain, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's...
Where Srila Prabhupada sometimes makes a question. If you can purchase this devotion, this bhakti, he said, but where can you get it?
No, I was talking about when you were talking about chanting with enthusiasm and patience. On that point, I was talking.
Can you uncontrol my video?
Do you want to start video?
Yeah, it says that I can't start it.
Okay, go ahead. It should be. Okay, there we go. Yes. So yes, Bhanu Prabhu, you are saying something.
No, we should do our chanting with enthusiasm and patience. And if we do it, we develop a taste to our chanting and we feel bliss from doing it. And doing devotional service rightly, you experience the bliss in it, and that is a constitutional position, natural constitutional position of the soul. Satchitananda Vigraha.
Yeah.
You see, you can't sell it. It's free, but you can't give it away. What I'm trying to explain, you can't force it on anybody who's not ready to hear. But
you're saying we need to chant with feeling. I mean, the feeling also we won't be getting automatically.
Where does the feeling come from? Have you heard anything? Where does the feeling come from?
I mean, if a person is there, and if I'm talking with the person, I can get talk with him with feeling. But we're talking with the Krishna through the holy name. So there's the difficulty.
Okay. I only can say, I offer you my respectful obeisances. And I think
I also offer you respectful obeisances, Prabhu.
Doing the right thing. I can't disagree with you. We have to, it would be wrong for me to try to force something.
Jai. Let's see here if there's any. I'd like to go over some comments our devotees made online. So let me just read some comments here, and then we'll wrap it up in a few minutes. Peter Prabhu is saying, Jai, just as Narada Muni helped Vyasadeva, he also told the Ramayana to Valmiki Muni. And Aristo Prabhu is saying, Hare Krishna. And Bhakta Peter says, please continue. And then Christopher, he's also watching. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. I always thought that that is a lovely prayer.
Yes,
I always thought that is a lovely prayer.
Yes, it's a beautiful prayer.
Right. And Peter Prabhu is saying here, perfect, and more perfect, and most perfect. And then Deepak Yadava Prabhu is saying, Jai Shri Krishna, Radhe, Radhe. And Peter says, channel 108, Jai. Okay.
Nice.
These are the comments for tonight. Any more discussion points from the devotees here? Rupa, anything you like to say? We got Lakshmi. Is this the same Lakshmi that joined a long time ago?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I pay my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, and yes, it is.
Jai.
Nice to see you. Hare Krishna. Is this the same Lakshmi that follows us online?
Yes.
Oh,
Hare
excellent.
Krishna.
And yeah, New Vrindavan for a couple of years.
Oh, yes. So you gave some insights about New Vrindavan, right? You met Malati and you drove her at one time. Yes.
Yes.
Jai.
Did Malati pressure you to take a bogus guru?
No, she didn't. I actually ended up being in association with Brika Sangha and also Prachetastas, who are older devotees. And I mean, Prachetas is kind of like my he's kind of like my spiritual partner.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
Jai, Lakshmi, you have any questions, comments, realizations you'd like to share? Feel free.
I was listening and I was actually commenting during the talk, and I was like, wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for allowing me to join and listen in.
Jai, you're welcome anytime. We have these meetings on Sundays from what is it, 7
7 to 8 or 7 to 9.
7 to 9. So you're welcome, and as well as anyone else who's watching, they're welcome. And if they have any questions for us, they can send us an email or just post the questions, and we'll try to answer them. Okay.
Yeah. We're all wearing tilak.
Hare Krishna. All right. Anything else you'd like to share? Go ahead, Ishan Prabhu. Yes.
Just one thing. What I've been trying to explain or speak about, it is in our literature in many, many places. But we may not have heard it from other devotees or in classes, so it may be new. So if I can understand intellectually or conceptually this idea of intimate relationship with Srila Prabhupada, so that I know that one day I'll be able to always live feeling his association, his presence.
Very wonderful, Prabhu.
I beg your pardon?
I said, it's wonderful, Prabhu, your experience. Yeah. I mean, how you're relating to Prabhupada.
Hang on. So the idea is, maybe I can't do it immediately. Maybe I don't. How do I feel that? How do I cultivate that? So that's understandable. Because anyone who can really live like that is going to become a pure devotee.
Jai.
So maybe I can't do that, or I don't know quite how to do. But if I can simply understand that this is where I want to go, and this is where I have to go in order to really grow spiritually, and I think about it, and I want to know how, and I pray.
Yeah.
I pray, how do I do this? Please help me to understand this. Gradually, we'll be given the intelligence how to cultivate this kind of relationship. It's new for most of us even to consider this context of Krishna consciousness. But my understanding is that this is the essence of the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya comes in Lord Chaitanya. It says in Chaitanya Charitamrita that if one does everything perfectly, at best they can go to Vaikuntha. But to have a personal relationship with Krishna, one has to have this intimate relationship with someone who has an intimate relationship with Krishna. And there's
Person
no
from
other-
Golok.
So even we can't do it if we wish for it, if we aspire for it, if we think, how can I do it? If we pray for it, and in any way that we can, sitting in front of a picture of Srila Prabhupada and accepting that he's really there in his picture, and to the degree that we accept and relate in that way, that picture will come alive to that degree, proportion.
As you already said, Prabhu, the mercy is already there. It depends on how much you take it from the spiritual master and Krishna.
Yes, it's there 100%. He says, it's there 100%. He's just waiting for us.
Just trust the process.
Please accept my blessing. Please accept my blessing. Over and over. So he's waiting for us to approach him.
You need to surrender. You can surrender in an instance. I mean, you just give up your wealth, you go to a temple, do service, chant 24 hours. That's the instant surrender. That's what it's meant. But no one does that.
And not to make anyone wrong, but just to try and encourage that a little bit like that. Hare Krishna.
Jai, we're coming up to about 9 o'clock. So we have another devotee, Tattva Darshana Das. Prabhu, welcome. Go ahead. Yes. Yes, Tattva Darshana Prabhu. You have any comments, questions, realizations? Please feel free to express yourself.
No, Prabhu, sorry. Just now I saw the link. I have a free time, so just now I came to the session. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. This session is being archived and recorded on YouTube, so you can see it on my channel. Anyone who's watching, we have Ishan Prabhu here. He's a disciple of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. And we have other devotees, Rupa Manjari, Bhanu from India, Robert, Lakshmi. So we were just reading Srimad Bhagavatam. What was it? 1.5. What was it? 1.5.
First few verses.
Yeah, 151. Yes, first few verses. Yes.
How much more time will we go on for?
About another 10 minutes till 9 o'clock our time. It's 8:48. Yes, Bhanu. Go ahead.
Yeah, you continue. Speak,
Oh, okay.
I'll speak when something comes.
Okay. Rupa, anything you'd like to share, Rupa?
No.
Okay. I think anything you'd like to conclude with, Ishan Prabhu? I think we'll just wrap it up in a few minutes. So.
I have something to raise, but it will take more time. Therefore,
Okay.
I'm not.
Oh, you can ask Bhanu Prabhu what question, comment, or realization you'd like to share. Please feel free.
It will go beyond 10 minutes. I'm saying.
Okay, just ask.
Huh?
Just
How much
ask.
time can we go?
Ishan Prabhu, can you go a little over 10 o'clock your time? Bhanu Prabhu wants to ask something. Is that okay?
Discuss.
Okay, discuss something. Go ahead. Yes, Bhanu Prabhu. Make it clear.
Yeah. I mean, we are all in this come to Krishna consciousness as sadhakas, and everyone has the potential to become a pure devotee. Yeah? So we are saying only Prabhupada is a pure devotee. and no other person is a pure devotee. Then how can we conclude like that?
Because it's obvious.
How is it obvious? So Prabhupada himself gives the example.
Name one person that did even 1% of what Prabhupada did. He made Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, an internationally recognized chant.
No, I understand that there is a Prabhupada, there are bogus gurus, and there I'm saying there are also other pure devotees. I'm saying now, then all the pure devotees don't need to do the same job. I mean,
if
Narad
we all
Muni is there,
simply-
Vyasadeva is there. So many pure devotees are there. If you go in Bhagavatam also,
But the
all
only
the
one
pure
we need-
devotees.
the only pure devotee we need to concern ourselves with is Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada wrote in his books about all the other ones, so we read about them through him.
No, Prabhupada is a pure devotee. We do accept that. I mean,
Yes, and his writing.
I would like to discuss this with Ishan Prabhu. I mean,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
No, when we discuss here with everyone. So it's not just Ishan Prabhu here. There's other devotees.
no, let him start the discussion, then everyone can speak.
Okay, fair enough. Ishan Prabhu, Bhanu Prabhu is saying that, he understands Srila Prabhupada's position as the founder Acharya and starting a worldwide Hare Krishna movement, writing all these books. His position is without a doubt clear to Bhanu, but Bhanu is saying that we are saying that, we should take shelter of Srila Prabhupada immediately right now, and you can have this, feeling by just accepting. But he's saying there are other pure devotees also, and you guys not accepting, or us not entertaining that idea of there are other pure devotees.
You're not open to that idea that there could be a possibility of other pure devotees. You close your minds, I'm saying.
Okay, he's saying we have a closed mind, that we're only propagating Prabhupada consciousness, meaning...
So show us who you have in mind that you think is a pure devotee.
Gaur Govind Maharaj was a pure devotee. When Prabhupada met him, he directly gave him sannyas, and one of the devotees, Gaur Govind Maharaj.
Gaur Govinda Swami. He's okay.
And Radha Govind Maharaj is also a pure devotee. Narayan Maharaj was a pure devotee.
See, I mean,
let me complete.
Okay, go ahead.
When Prabhupada met Gaur Govind Maharaj, he directly gave him sannyas when the first instance only. So one of the disciples said, I mean, we have been waiting all in the line of so many years for getting to the point of sannyas. You're giving him first hand so soon. Prabhupada said, you are not a devotee. He is a devotee from birth. From birth himself, from previous birth, he's continuing his devotion. He's a devotee from birth, he said. And Radha Govind Maharaj, you may question, I mean, why, if he's a pure devotee, why isn't he doing miracles or building temples like that, this and that? And once he was giving Bhagavatam class and Prabhupada was there, and Prabhupada, hearing his Bhagavatam class, he got tears from him while hearing, and said, Radha Govind, you should make this like you should make this your life and soul, and you should throughout your life you should be giving Bhagavatam class. He said that, and that's what Radha Govind Maharaj has been doing, giving Bhagavatam classes. In the Bhagavatam classes, his Bhagavatam classes, he speaks in a so humble manner. I mean, if you listen to it.
Who does?
Radha Govind Maharaj.
What group is he in?
He's in the ISKCON group. He's an ISKCON guru.
He has an ISKCON guru?
No. He's a disciple.
He's a disciple of Prabhupada.
He's a disciple of Prabhupada, but he's been appointed to be a guru in ISKCON.
No, why am I not hearing Ishan Prabhu?
Okay, Ishan Prabhu, can you speak a little bit about Bhanu Prabhu's raising a point here about other pure devotees that are in ISKCON, or were in ISKCON? So I think my understanding of Ishan Prabhu is he focuses on Srila Prabhupada, and that's his guru. So he doesn't like to talk about anything else than what's written in Prabhupada's books. But certainly,
okay. Let me.
Ishan Prabhu,
let
go
me-
ahead.
I'll-
We want to hear from you.
Okay. My understanding is, you know, I'm a conditioned soul. I don't have ultimate knowledge. Krishna doesn't talk to me.
Hmm.
Well, he may talk to me, but I don't hear. So, in the heart, my understanding is that Srila Prabhupada gave instructions how ISKCON should be run, and that new devotees should be initiated in the Ritvik system, and they should all be Srila Prabhupada's disciples.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Now,
100%.
wait.
I believe that Ritvik is supposed to be there. Okay. Yeah, go on, please
Hey,
complete.
Hey, you asked a question, give me a chance to speak. So, so that's my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I believe in my heart. I've even seen in so much documentation about this issue. And I've also been very close to one of the men who took the position of guru, and then said, it's all nonsense. We made this up.
Hmm.
Hansa Dutt, a personal friend of mine before
Yes.
he passed away recently. We used to speak on the phone regularly. And he would tell me, and Tamal Krishna was another one, and he gave a talk. And
No,
where
what
he
you're
said-
naming are the bogus gurus. I'm speaking about.
Yeah, so what the idea is that Srila Prabhupada wanted a Ritvik system and said that the student should be my student. So one may be a pure devotee or not a pure devotee, I don't know, but that's Srila Prabhupada's instruction. If he thinks he's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he should obey Srila Prabhupada's instruction and not accept it. He should send people who want to advance spiritually to Srila Prabhupada. And if he's not doing that, then I consider him an offender.
Hmm.
What can I do?
Who, Prabhu?
He's not. What he is, I don't know. I never met the man, but that's my understanding of Srila Prabhupada's instruction. And if he's not following that instruction, and it's such an important instruction,
What instruction is that?
the instruction that all new devotees in the Hare Krishna movement should be disciples of Srila Prabhupada.
Oh, right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Can I
Instead, they're
speak,
going
Prabhu?
to,
If somebody wants to take Srila Prabhupada's place, then I consider him a demon.
Hmm.
right. Right.
Can I say Prabhu, something, Prabhu?
Yes. Go ahead, Bhanu Prabhu. Now you
So,
can.
I mean, everyone who comes to Krishna conscious, they're the sadhaka, and ultimately they become a pure devotee. Now, the thing you're saying is they're now pure devotees, but Prabhupada is the pure devotee. It's like
I didn't say that. You're
that's what
words
they're
in my
saying.
mouth.
So
No.
are you saying that no one has the capacity to become a pure devotee? Let me complete. So it's like man evolved from apes. Apes are sadhakas, and their man is there. He's a pure devotee. That's Prabhupada analogy. Now, where is the evolution from apes to
There is
humans?
there's no evolution from apes to humans.
That is what the
Evolution-
scientists say, that there is evolution. But
Darwinian evolution is false. Prabhupada said that.
no, Mataji, you understand the analogy I'm saying. So there's evolution from sadhaka to pure devotee. I'm giving an analogy.
Oh, okay.
So what you're saying is, I mean, there are no humans. The evolution happens, but evolution theory is there. But we ask, the devotees ask, I mean, people ask, where is the evolution? Where is the ape transforming from to human? No, that you cannot give evidence. But you say, but there is a human being is there and ape is there. And evolution has happened before. Like that you said to Prabhupada. I'm not against Prabhupada. I'm an avid follower of Prabhupada. He's a pure devotee. You say previously Prabhupada
He gave
for
us absolutely
no,
everything.
no, don't get emotional. Don't get emotional. I'm
Okay,
saying,
Bhanu Prabhu.
Prabhupada, people have become pure devotees from sadhakas. So now we are sadhakas, and people can't become pure devotees. Evolution has happened before. Now where is evolution happening? Means no, evolution won't happen. Evolution has happened previously. Now it is not happening. Now pure devotees doesn't exist. There's no process of pure devotees existing right now in the period of history. But pure devotees will exist. It has been existing. That is the system. Sadhakas will become pure devotees. But in this period, there are no pure devotees. What kind of analogy is that?
Bhanu Prabhu's main contention, yes, go ahead, Ishan Prabhu. His main contention is that we are saying that Prabhupada is the pure devotee. You should take shelter of Srila.
Ishan Prabhu has understood Prabhu. I mean, you don't change the.
He's saying there are other pure devotees that people that are there. He's basing that point, and because we're saying, you know, to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada, you don't have to worry about anything. Bhanu Prabhu is saying other pure devotees are there. You guys are closing the door.
So I'll complete it. I mean,
okay, go ahead.
I believe that Ritvik is supposed to be implemented when Prabhupada was there. Like when Prabhupada was in South Africa, if he wants to initiate someone in Australia, the Ritvik system has to act there. But when Prabhupada has passed, he didn't appoint anyone to act as guru or anything, because it is automatically known only the pure devotee can become a guru. He won't say so and so can appoint that, because it is automatically understood through scripture that only the pure devotee, Uttama Adhikari, can accept disciples. So that he doesn't need to say, Prabhupada doesn't need to say that. Ritvik was being followed when Prabhupada wasn't there at the destination. When he was there in one place and another place, the initiation has to happen. The Ritvik system was followed. This is my understanding.
So that is your understanding. What can we do? You're expressing your understanding. That's fine.
Donald Prabhu, you're the host. You don't conclude things.
I'm not concluding. I'm just
We're discussing here.
Okay. I think Ishan Prabhu has made it clear what system he has understood that Prabhupada should wanted, and he has direct experience with people who acted in ways.
So I'm the dark one for putting logical arguments and shastric opinions, views. So no. That I'm not even able to. You don't even talk with me, huh?
I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Ishan Prabhu has made it clear what
the standard
wanted.
is. What the standard is.
Yes. So there's no. If you have your own understanding, you have expressed it here. So
you people have Ronald, you have your own understanding, Ronald Prabhu, and Mataji, Rupa Manjari, you have your own understanding. How can I say I have the right understanding? You say you have the right understanding. So we are having a discussion over here.
Prabhupada said that he is the Acharya for ISKCON. That's his title.
He's the Acharya, right?
He's the Acharya. So if you're in ISKCON, you follow Prabhupada. It's that simple. These other bogus gurus.
The pure devotee is concerned with Krishna conscious. The pure devotee is concerned with Krishna. Yeah, go on.
These bogus gurus are a bunch of losers. They don't have, they're not Krishna conscious.
Yeah, I accept that.
Like
I accept the thing about the bogus gurus.
Like Radhanath Swami is a Sahajiya. He sits there and just
I know about all the guys, the crooks in ISKCON, Radhanath, Jayapataka, whatever, all huge listers there. I accept them.
Yeah,
bogus gurus.
Yeah, they are bogus.
It's like seeing 95 bad apples, and you conclude the apples itself are bad. Apples are rotten. Seeing 95 bad rotten apples. I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So Bhanu Prabhu, I think you have understood that if there's a pure devotee, you think someone is a pure devotee, then the Shastras say what a person needs to do, right? From Prabhupada's books and whatever. So I think if you have found someone, then I think you should immediately take shelter of that person.
I've taken shelter immediately.
Okay, great. I think that's great. So,
Closed minds, that's what I'm saying. You're not
Okay.
open to discussion.
okay, we're close-minded. Okay. Anything else?
Ishan Prabhu?
Yes. Go ahead.
Ishan Prabhu, are you there?
Yeah.
Narayan Prabhu is in the hospital and he's very ill.
Yes, you mentioned that already, Rupa.
I mentioned it in this chat.
Yes.
Oh
Yes,
my God, I'm getting senile.
Yeah, you did mention it. Okay. So I think we'll end it here, Prabhus. Thank you for the lively discussion. Ishan Prabhu, we'll see you again. I'll give you a call sometime this week and we'll discuss a little bit more. And Rupa Manjari, thank you for joining. Bhanu Prabhu, thank you also for joining. Lakshmi.
And
Thank
thanks for taking over. Thanks for taking over the hosting when my internet was down.
Oh, no problem. All right, Prabhus, Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All good is to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Please accept
Hare
humble
Krishna.
obeisances.
Jai, Hare Krishna.